All righty, you guys, we're going to jump in here. Hey, everybody, it's earlier than my normal live, but I'm out here in these streets enjoying my last few weeks of vacation. And so I just wanted to kind of jump in, share some things with you all, and I'm hoping that somebody is able to join me. I have had a few people ask me some questions about sinking funds, and so I wanted to just jump in here and talk a little bit about sinking funds. So if you're chiming in, let me know where you're chiming in from. It's always good to know where people are. Hey, Jasmine, good to see you. Hey, little lady. I love all of y'all names. It just make me happy to read them all. Very good. I'm glad you're here. So we're going to talk a little bit about sinking funds. Now, listen, if you've been following me for any length of time, you know the biggest thing that this channel, my YouTube channel, has been known for is finances. Hey, ma'am, good to see you. Goodness, it's been a minute. I hope you are well. But finances has been the thing, right? If I'm a single mom, raising children, getting out of debt, if I want that for myself and God wants that for me, He wants that for you. And we've had to work the process over here. It hasn't always been easy, but we have done it. We have said no to ourselves. We have buckled down. We've gone totally cashless. A cash-based system on a lot of things. I only pay bills online. I do not use my debit card for a lot of things, but I use cash. So you've seen the cash envelopes, you've seen the savings challenges, and all of that. And so I want to be able to equip you to give people tools to be able to experience the financial freedom and financial solvency that my children and I are experiencing at this point. So somebody asked me a question about sinking funds and how sinking funds work. So I just wanted to jump in and share that with you guys because I have an example that would help you all think about it. So sinking funds, if you follow the zero-based envelope system, zero-based budgeting system, where every dollar in your paycheck or whatever funds come in through your hands, you give those a job. You have long-term expenses, or you have like once a year expenses, some of those types of things. So we have an expense that's coming due. Every year I get my house sprayed, and they come in and do my annual inspection for, hey, Miss Sue, they come in and do my annual inspection for termites and all that. I just renewed my termite bond, which was a 5-year bond. I renewed that last year. And so they're just coming in to do their once a year checkup of the home. I'm on a slab. I don't have a crawl space. So everything beneath my house is concrete. I do have vinyl siding on the house, and I have wooden posts on the front, which I'm actually going to enclose those because I don't want to have no problems with anything. However, you still get critters and different things. So I always keep just a barrier around my home so that I don't have to worry about any issues. If anything, if there's anything, because I have a bond for 5 years, then they come in and they take care of the problems. Now, I'm glad I said that to myself because I did not set up a sinking fund for my termite bond. So look at Shakima. As I'm talking to y'all helping me. Thank you so much. So I'm going to flip this piece of paper over, and I need to set up a sinking fund. And I'm writing this down. Fund for the 5-year bond. Okay. Now, last year, I think I paid about $700. So that's a little bit more than $100 a year if I'm saving up each year. So how sinking funds work is if you have a large sum of money that needs to go out of your home for any reason. I have my once a year. So they're coming in, and I didn't plan enough, y'all. 2020 prices are so different than 2023 prices. Even 21 and 22 prices were different than 23 prices. So last year, I believe I spent, I think I spent $125 on the bond. Well, I got my bill for this year. I've got to call and have them come in to, set up the appointment. It's $170. So I am off by $45 somewhere I did not calculate for. Well, they didn't send me anything saying they were going up on the prices, but I don't guess people have to give you any telling you they're going up on prices as it is. So anyway, I've got to figure out how I'm going to save $170 for next year's bond. I have money for it this year, but I have to account for it for next year's bond. So if I were setting up a sinking fund, I think I have, I'm going to look, I think I have 14 or 15 savings accounts. So let me just talk to you about my accounts, right? So I have a checking account. I have a separate bank, separate from my main regular checking where I do all of my bill interactions. So that's in my main checking account. I have a separate checking account that I have no access to, that is not a brick and mortar place. I can't go and get the money anywhere. Hello, Miss Cynthia. Good to see you. I can't go anywhere to get the money. Hey, Mona, good to see you. What I have to do is I have to transfer the funds. It can go on my card. It takes a little while to do all that, and then I can pay bills. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and I'm going to add in the sinking fund bond for the 5 years. So I have 21 savings accounts underneath this one checking account. They're called nested accounts, that this bank allows me to set up one main checking, and then I can nest up to 27 savings accounts that I just put money in to hold. Right? Hey, Destiny. Hey, blessed with one. Hey, Miss Nancy. I think at the bottom you click on. There's a star. I'm the worst. I don't know the things, but I think that's what you do. So, I have 21. Now, what I do is I account for how many months I have to save up that amount. So $170, I have to break that down into 12 months because I want to save a little bit every single month for that. I don't have enough money, right? Some people would say, I don't have enough funds to take it all at one time. I understand that. I've been there before, and I'm still at that point. I'm not trying to take all my money out if I don't have to. If I can set up a system that's going to work for me long term. So $170, and I'm going to raise that amount or collect that amount or save that amount over 12 months. Okay, now this thing don't want to act right. So that's going to be $14 a month. So $14 a month starting in August, right? So because my bond comes up, or my inspection comes up in July. So I have to start saving in August for the next year. So I'm saving for the 2024 inspection. So I'm going to go ahead and pay because I've already saved. I haven't saved up all the money I need. I have saved so far. Let me see. I got to find it. $97. So I'm still about $80 away, but I'm going to put money in this month. There's money coming in this month. So I have $117, I think, in there, or $117. So I'm only going to be like $53 away, which is probably about 45 was the difference, right? So I'm not going to be very far off. So I'm going to eat that 53. I'm going to eat that $53 this time just out of my regular account. It'll be perfectly fine. Should I get a sinking fund for Christmas? I always recommend that people, if you are able to put aside for Christmas, that you put aside for Christmas. You only have 6 months, 5.5, because July is about to be over, right? So we have August, September, October, November, and then just a little bit into December. So 4.5 months, really 4 months and 3 weeks-ish to save up for Christmas. And so if you're able to put aside monies now, I would do that now. That way you're not looking at the purpose and plan for sinking funds is so you're not trying to eat a big amount at one time. It's like trying to eat a 3-course meal at one time. The reason that it's called a course meal is because they bring you the soup and salad first, then you have your entree, then you have your dessert, right? So you can take it in pieces, if that makes any sense. So starting in August, and if I were going to write this down, I probably should have put up a thing on my I should have put up a thing on my computer, but I'm going to say August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, and then July. Now, I've already written that down. So this is how I'm going to account for it. Now I have a spreadsheet that does all this for me. So I don't have to write it down on paper. I have a spreadsheet. So every single month for this particular, it's going to be my, what are we calling this? This is for my inspection, my home inspection. And it's going to cost me $14.16. So I'm just going to round it up to $15. So I'm just going to say it costs me $15 each month. So every month I'm going to save $15. And as I save the money, it's going to accrue until it meets that threshold of $170. Saving 90 cents extra every month is going to almost give me $12 cushion in case they raise the price next year and don't tell me. Right? So instead of saving $14.10, I'm going to just save equal $15. And that's how it's going, to help me not have to figure out where $170 has to come from, right? So breaking it down. Let me go back over a few other sinking funds that I have, and I'll tell you what I have. I have my taxes. So I am considered an independent contractor for my social media accounts. They do not take out taxes on me. So I have to pay my own taxes as a self-employed independent contractor. So what I do is every time I get social media income, I pull out a specific amount of money and I put it in a savings account so that when I do my taxes in February, March, whichever time I get them done, then I'm able to pay, if I owe taxes, I'm able to pay that money straight out because I should be paying my taxes, right? But I just don't pay them now. I wait until I do my taxes to see what I should have paid through the year. But I take out the money every single month and I put it in that fund. Do you put money into all of your sinking funds every month? Yes, ma'am, I do now. Now, let me say this for those of you who may be new to sinking funds or you don't have a way to start sinking funds. I was doing zero-based budgeting for about 10 years before I was able to even put anything in sinking funds. I didn't have any extra money for sinking funds. What I did was I started working on YouTube, and eventually we were into the monetization program where we were able to make income from our social media. It wasn't a lot of income. It's still not a lot of income. And we're almost at 50,000 subscribers. I don't know how people are making all these monies because I don't make it. I don't yet. Yet, speaking those things that be not as though they were. Yet, I don't make it yet, but I'm gonna make it because the Lord wants me to be rich. He does, so that I can give into the kingdom, not so that I can be rich over here just to have money. He wants me to have money so that I can give into the work that's important to Him. So remember that for those of you who say, "Oh no, I don't want money." Yes, you do. You want it so that you're able to give into the things that are on your heart, right? You can't do anything if you don't have any means to do it. So in the very beginning, I didn't have the money for sinking funds. But once we started working towards having that income, I didn't have 21 sinking funds. I started with one or two, right? I might have started with my Christmas sinking fund. And then I started with, okay, this bill is coming up. And that's a big one. So I probably need to set aside money for that. So it just grew over the years. It wasn't always, I had 21. I think I started off with like 3 or 4, and then I increased it. Well, if that's how you're, so Cynthia says she has 8, but she only puts money in 6 every month. If that's how it works out best for you, that's perfectly fine. I have some sinking funds that just sit, right? They just sit there. They don't do anything. So that's perfectly fine. If you don't need to fund them all every month, but the ones I fund, my Christmas fund, I actually don't even fund until October. Because in my job, I get a supplement for my teaching job because that pays my bills. My teaching job pays my bills. But we get a supplement twice a year in October and April. Remember, my year starts in August. So I'm going to get my very first paycheck in August because I'm out of work right now. My first supplement comes in October. I pull $1,000 off of that supplement and I stick it into my Christmas fund and I just leave it there. I don't put any money into it any other time. $1,000 is what I have for my children. I have 4 of them. Excuse me. They're all grown now. So, except Jackson. So I'm not trying to buy gifts anymore. I give them money. Here's your little bit, your little bit, your little bit, your little bit. And here's the thing about that. For those of you who think we got it all together over here. Last year, 22 Christmas was the first Christmas I was able to give all of my children something and take them on vacation. We did a 2-night, 3-day vacation in Myrtle Beach, and I created a sinking fund for vacations last year and put a little bit of money in there. And because Myrtle Beach is pretty close, it's not far, but it's close enough for me to get to. I knew that we could get something after Christmas. We went on vacation the day after Christmas. And so we were able to get a B&B for a very reasonable rate. And I paid for that. So last year, my children are 33, 27, 19, and 14 was the first year that I was able to give everybody something, the same thing. And I gave my son-in-law something. And I think I sent my son's girlfriend something. They didn't get as much as my kids, but they got something. Okay. And then this year I'll be able to do the same. But the year before last, my older children were still helping me get things for the younger children. So it's not like every year I have it all together because there might be things that just come up. So I have to plan just like everybody else. Now, here's what I do if I don't have enough to fund my sinking funds. If I don't have enough, then I don't fund the sinking funds. If you don't have enough money and you're trying to pay your bills, you pay your bills. That is the crux. That's the main thing, is to pay your bills. If you're just trying to swim and not sink, leave the sinking funds for later, or do one sinking fund just to get your feet wet and see what it feels like. Another way that I used to sink funds when I was getting money back from taxes, because my kids were little then, I would take my tax money and I would divide it up into the things I needed, or I would pay ahead on bills so that I wasn't nickel and diming myself all year long. For those of you who get income tax returns back and they're fairly substantial, you can pay your car insurance up for 6 months or a year. When you pay it for 6 months, it's less as far as the payment because you're paying it all at one time. So they give you a little bit of a discount when you pay it at one time. So if you pay it at one time, then you can start the next month taking out a little bit each time for your sinking fund. That way, when it comes back due in 6 months from now, you've saved up the money. Does that make sense? So a lot of times, some of us will get what's called a windfall, where we have a large sum of money, right? And you take that money if you're able, not if you have bills. If you have bills, get caught up on your bills. Please, please, please do not take tax money. That is an exorbitant amount of money that you would not normally get and go buy crazy stuff. Nobody cares what kind of Louis Vuittons you're wearing or Gucci. I mean, I'm so tired of name brands right now. I'd rather make sure my rent was paid for 3 months than to be walking around with shoes that if they got wet, I was going to be upset, or if they got a crease in the toe, I was going to have a problem. So please, please, please become financially astute to understand what is important for your family. My children, I think they have rarely had name brand tennis shoes that I have purchased. I'm not that parent. I mean, I'm not sending you to school for a fashion statement. I'm sending you to school so that you can get a scholarship with your brain. But that's just me. But if you have that amount of income, or it's not even income, but again, a windfall that comes in, and you're then able to divide that monies up into different areas, then that's my recommendation or suggestion. First thing, if you're behind on bills, get caught up on bills. If you owe people money, pay them people their money back. And then whatever is left, put something to the side for a rainy day. Usually your $1,000 is what is recommended by the zero-based budgeting system, is $1,000. I even think you need to bump that up to $2,000 just in today's economy, because things are a little bit more expensive. Then take what's left, excuse me, and funnel it out to your different sinking funds. Now, I'm going to share with you the things that I have sinking funds. So taxes is a sinking fund for me. And again, that's because I'm an independent contractor and I have August, September, October, November, December. So I still have 5 more months to save up for taxes, right? So I have some money in there now that I've been saving all year long. And then I'm going to keep saving. And whatever I don't have to spend to pay my taxes, if I owe taxes, I roll over for the next year so that I am always ahead on my taxes. Amazon Prime. Now, that's a thing that I have to pay once a year. It comes due in January. So I make sure that I put enough money into my sinking fund every single month. I think for Amazon Prime, I can tell y'all because I just did my sinking funds. Amazon Prime, I pay $13 a month. That's how much I put into my sinking fund. And then in January, when it's due, I just slide the money over into my main checking account because that comes off my main checking account. I just send it back over there and it comes out no problem. I don't even realize it. Don't mess with it. It's all done. The next one I have is my recycling. So we are recycling county. They come and pick up our, cans, bottles, cardboard, that type of thing. In order for me to recycle, I think it's like $189 a year. And so I pay for recycling. It's $16. $16 a month is how much I put into my sinking fund. And that bill comes due in July. So I've just started now saving up again because I paid the full amount in July. And so I'm starting over to save up for next year. Then I have my yearly pest spray, which was what we just talked about. And my yearly pest spray is $12, but I'm going to up that to $15 starting in August. My vacations, I put $50 in vacation every single month. Now, when I'm running short on sinking funds money, I don't fund vacation. There are certain things that I want to fund, but I don't have to. So therein lies where you have to go back and you have to determine what's a priority for you. My children live far from me. My daughter's in California. My son's in Texas. I have the two little ones here, younger ones. They're not little. The two younger ones here. But I can't guarantee that my daughter's going to want to fly in all the way across country just to go on vacation. I can't guarantee my son's going to want to do the same thing. So that doesn't mean that I necessarily have to pay for the vacation. I try to do that because it's my heart for my children. However, what we can do is if they say, okay, oh, I'm missing all these comments. I'm so sorry, y'all. If they say, hey, mom, let's meet in the middle, and I've saved up vacation money, potentially I have money now that I can use for plane tickets or gas to get my kids and I there. The other thing with vacation is I just took a girls trip with a couple of my Titus 2 ladies. And of course, that was a church thing. It was part of my ministry. So I've been doing the $5 challenge. And so the $5 challenge, I had saved up like $175. And so I took that money out early and I used it for part of the trip to pay for some expenses, a part of the trip. So again, I have different things that provide income, and then I'm spreading that income out. I'm very good. Any way you can do it. Let me see. Dee said we started sinking fund years ago with car registration. So these might be some ones that you can use: car registration, tires, car maintenance, car insurance, things like that. When you eventually build up to fund the sinking fund, absolutely start with the lowest things that are going to take you out if something really happens. A car expense, a car repair is like one of those big things. So if I were you, I would put something aside. And people will say, well, I can't put a lot. $5. At least it's going to take something off that bill when you have a bill. I have tires. I tell the story quite often. I went to have my car inspected last year. They failed my inspection. They said your tires are nearly bald. Didn't even dawn on me that my tires were bald. I take it to the Toyota place to have my oil replaced. Nobody said at any point, hey, your tires are getting low. You might want to get your tires changed. but it cost me it was 300 and some dollars. And I was like, oh, Lord Jesus. Toyota wanted to charge me to $800 for tires. I said, oh, no, the devil is a lie. There's a little place right up here that I go to, a little hole in the wall. We call it a little hole in the wall. Them people just come out. Listen, let me tell you how these people do it, okay? We need to look at people who do it. They have a shed. The lady who does the billing, she sits in a shed. They have a little air conditioning unit inside. She's all connected to power. They have a little awning thing that you drive your car in. That's it. She don't have no overhead expenses. She don't have no fancy building with 3 bays and all this stuff. But they plug your tires. They rotate your tires. They put new tires on. They do all of the things with tires. That's all they do are tires. So I go over there to that little place, and I've got my tires from them for years. Now, as a single woman, this is me, not you. So do what works best for your family, your household, and your expenses. As a single woman on the road, I drive a lot. We don't have that brand here. We don't have that name. If that's a company, we don't have, not that in my area. But as a single woman I used to drive a lot for my work until I got closer to work last year. And then having my kids in different activities, we would be on the road all kinds of times. I do not buy secondhand tires. I buy brand new every single time. Now, that's an expense for me, but I would prefer not to be somewhere on the road, and because I got a secondhand tire, something happens, boom, bam, and I'm out here stuck on the road somewhere. That doesn't mean a new tire can't have a problem, but I just get new tires. I've done that since I've been single, and it has worked for me. Is it one account you have for all these categories or individual? Okay. I have one main checking account, and I have 21 nested sinking savings accounts underneath that one checking account. With this particular, it's an online bank. With this particular bank, they will let you nest savings accounts underneath. And I've gone in and named them all what I want them to be. So in order to pay bills, I just put the money back into that checking account, and I can pay bills using my debit card. But as I'm building up the money to pay, I have savings accounts that sit underneath one main checking account. And I have 21 of those. Oh, really? Well, I live in the South, so we don't have really cold weather. I don't live off road, so I don't need like off-road tires. We don't have a lot of snow and ice. I don't live in an environment that has that. So those are just things that I just have regular tires. It's for North Carolina, because that's where I live. I also have insurance. So I pay my insurance every 6 months. Right now, it's just me. I've never had a child on my insurance. When my children are old enough to drive and they want to get their license, they are required to get their own separate insurance, because I am not paying for teenager insurance, and I am not paying if somebody gets into some problems. So right now, Alana is 19. She has her driver's permit, and she is driving with mom some. We are starting to get her more acclimated to driving, and she's doing very well. But when she's ready for her license, she is going to get her own insurance. Training got his own. Shamika had his own. It's Capital One 360 is what I have. Capital One 360. And there are a ton of online banks. That's what I use. Two of my friends, actually a couple of YouTube ladies, mentioned it to me. And I just started using it. I was very hesitant in the beginning because I can't go there and get my money out, right? I need to be able to get to the place. But what I have found is, because this is not money that I plan to spend, except for paying that bill, that big bill when it's time, I don't even miss it. It's not even something I don't need to put my hands on it or anything like that. I watch my accounts through the app. I make sure everything is where it needs to be. And I just put the money over there and I let it roll. One of the things about being financially solvent or financially free, debt free, is you don't worry about your money, if that makes any sense. When you have debt and you owe people, money tends to make you get stressed. Money is one of those categories that tend to stress people all the way out. And so when you're paying off debt, or people can get into your finances some type of a way, that bothers you. That And so I didn't want that feeling. I didn't want that stress. Um I just didn't want it. And so what I did was I made a decision to pull in my spending. I made a decision to go cash base on the things I could spend cash on. And then I decided to just pay my bills. When I got taxes, I remember getting out of debt. I made a decision that when I got tax money, this is when my kids were a little bit younger, I was going to take all that tax money and throw it towards my debt. And people talked about me some type of bad. I wouldn't give them people all my money, but they're taking your interest. They're taking your interest. You don't argue about that. I'd much rather pay you and be done than pay you and pay the interest, because interest rates, my people, continue to go up. My house, when I got my house, I think my interest rate is 3.5%. So they said, do you want to refinance? I'm good. I don't pay your high interest debt. I don't have high interest debt. So I don't need to refinance nothing. Base home mortgage rates now 7%. So I'm not doing any of that. I got in when the getting in was good. I actually just got my tax statement. That's another thing. My taxes for my home are about $1,100. So in order for me to pay $1,100 or save up to pay my taxes, because some of you pay your taxes, once a year, it's $92 for me to save if I were going to pay my taxes. Now, my taxes are rolled into my mortgage, so I don't even worry about it. I may eventually disassociate all of that stuff together from being together. But when I first bought my home, it was just all rolled into one. I'm probably at the stage now where I don't have to have all of that. I would not have the PMI, but that's a whole nother conversation. But I just got that bill because the taxes are coming due. So it's $92 a month. And when it comes due and I get my bill and they say, hey, you're due by August 31st, I'll have the $1,100 I need if I put $92 worth into that account. Now, the other thing, and I want to caution us here, if you're listening to me, and I'm not telling you what to do, so please, if I sound accusatory, I don't mean to sound that way, but I am very passionate about not owing people money. I am very passionate about paying what I owe because it's my name attached to that, and I need to have a good integrity about my bill paying. What I encourage people not to do is, because we always think, oh, I'm going to get this money, so I'm going to just put it all to the side later. Sometimes you don't have a later, or sometimes something else comes up. I remember my washing machine went out at the same time as my dishwasher. And I was like, are you kidding me right now? You got to be kidding me. But I had the money saved, and I went out and I bought the dishwasher and I bought the washing machine. Paid in full. The first time I was able to pay for that I think it was a dryer. I had to get a dryer too. When I could pay for my dryer in cash, it was a whole nother level of, okay, Shakima, you did this thing, girl, because I didn't have to buy it on time or pay payments, right? I don't want to pay my interest to anybody. Now, if that's where you are, that's fine. I have been there before as well. But as I have grown in my understanding of how my finances work and how my stress and anxiety level go up when I owe people money, I changed the things I was doing. That's what I did, because I did not want to have all the anxiety behind it. So don't think, okay, well, when I get my taxes, I'm going to do blah, blah, blah. No. I'm going to keep saving every month. And then when I get my taxes, if I have enough to put it somewhere or throw a big chunk, do it then. But don't wait, hoping, wishing on a prayer that something's going to happen, because we see all the time tax laws change, this changes, that changes, the pandemic came, so that changed everything. Stuff can happen in the blink of an eye, and you don't want to catch yourself out there not knowing, what you need or having what you need. When you're in a husband-wife situation, or a partner situation, whatever you in, where somebody else has attachments to your finances, you need to make sure that y'all are on the same page as far as money is concerned. How are we doing this? What did Dee say? When I use cash, I don't like, let me see what she says. When I use cash, I don't like giving it away. I really consider a purchase when I use cash. Subtractions of how, I'm telling you right now, it is very true. My dollars, I'm real selective about what I do with my coins. I'm selective about my coins. Now you can spend yours any type of way you want. And I know too that for those of us, and I'm including myself in this because I'm not better than anybody, but I have just come to a different place in life. When you don't have it and all of a sudden you have it, you get spend happy. You like, oh, let me go buy this and let me go do this and let me do this and let me do this and let me do this. You fail, or we fail to remember that tomorrow is coming. And we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. So it is not wise. It is not wise to take the majority of a lump sum windfall money and just go out and be reckless and random. I'd much, much rather pay my rent for 3 months because I'm not real sure what's going to happen. And don't put it in if you know you have the proclivity to spend, don't be like, oh, ooh, yeah, let me yeah, I'm gonna put this money right here and then I'm gonna pay it. No, pay it. Just go ahead and pay it because you're gonna dip and slip and all the things you're gonna dip in, and next thing you know, right? It's like an addict out here trying thinking they're not gonna spend the money on their next high. They are. Oh, they are. And when the night is over, the money is gone. They're gonna be sitting there looking like, oh, where'd the money go? We know exactly where it went. Okay. So that's that's what Shakima would do as far as how I manage my funds. Also, back to the if somebody else has some type of togetherness with your finances, please make sure that you are on the same page, or the person who is the best money manager is managing the money. Because if not, you're going to run into the situation where they're not going to see that things need to get done, and then the money's going to be gone, and you're going to be in a situation. Nobody should be in a situation. We should always be working proactively on our finances and not reactionary to poor decisions. That'll preach. Okay, we're going to be proactive in our finances and not reactive in our finances, because I can't go back. Hindsight is always 2020. So I'm going to start acting like my sight is good going in. Let me figure out. And I keep a running tab. I just wrote this out for y'all, but I keep a running tab on a spreadsheet of what needs to come and what needs to go and when. And I immediately pay bills. My light bill, my utility bill is not due until the 10th of the month. I get paid on the last working day of the month. My bills get paid on the 1st. I don't care if it's not due until the 10th. I'm paying it on the 1st because I'm not trying to go back and remember that it's due on the 10th, because I might forget, and forgetting is going to cause me a fee. And I'm not paying your fee. I'd rather keep my fee and pay myself. That's all I'm saying. If for some reason you need to pay somebody a fee, figure out what the fee is and pay yourself, but pay that bill on time. Okay, so that was sinking funds. I have a dog. I have 2 dogs actually. So let's talk about all these new things we want, all these nice little fluffy critters over here at our house. So I have a sinking fund for my dog. Gracie is my first dog. Gracie's 7 years old. You're very good. It just one step at a time. That's all you need to do. One step at a time, right? Don't beat yourself up. We know we had some slip ups, miss ups, whatever. We just get right back on it. And we work hard until we can get back to that place where we're not working as hard. Nothing I do over here is considered work to me. This is just what has to be done. And I do it with a glad heart, because the Lord allows finances to come into my hands, sometimes even by nothing I did, but he allows it. And then I am a good money manager of what he gives me, a good steward, if that's a better word for some of us, a good steward over what he gives me, and he gives me so that I'm taking care of the next time. And that's been my testimony since I've been able to get my hands on my finances and do the things. When I was married, my ex-husband was told by different people that he was the man, he had to do the finances. He was horrible at it, but because he was the man, he had to take care of the finances. I'm telling you right now, if your husband or wife, if your man watching is not the best money manager, then you take over or you let them take over. Whoever is the best manager of the money, that's going to make sure that the bills are paid. And y'all have to have courageous conversations. My ex-husband, when we were first married, was not a believer. He was not Christian. But I believe in tithing before we got married. And I said to him, I don't care what you do. You make sure off my money, you put them tithes where they need to go. Because again, he was the man and he had to do the finances, whatever. But you make sure that you put them tithes where they need to go. And so we never had any issues over that. I don't know what he did with his money, but I'm telling you what he did with my money. I always knew that my money was going to the church. And then when he did get saved, he did the same with his money. But I'm telling you what to do because I know how God blesses me. So then you become a good money manager, a good financial manager over what God gives you, good steward, and then you find yourself with more things. Now, I know a lot of people would say, I'm in so much debt, I can't do anything. I can't work a second job. I can't do this. I can't do that. There is something that you can do. There is something that you can do within your home. You have enough brain cells, and if you don't, ask God, and He will give you an idea of how you can make income for your family. I never thought sitting in front of my computer making videos would provide an income for us. Again, it's not my primary income. I work a job. I work a job every single day, 7 to 3, except the summer. I work a job. That pays my bills. I don't even count my children's child support into my bills because it might not come. It might come, it might not come. So what I did was God says, start YouTube. I started YouTube. We started getting paid. That took care of the sinking funds, or that took care of me getting out of debt. He said, do this. I started this. That started bringing in income. And I don't leave my house. I do not leave my house to make money. So there are things that you can do. Very good. Selling stuff in your home. Some of you are eBay queens. You can get on eBay and just post stuff. Well, Shakima, may not sell, but it might. You can get on Facebook Marketplace. You're never going to know. My daughter says this. She says you only miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Put it out there. Somebody wants it. Okay. D says they have 3 sinking funds for the 2 dogs, vet, food, and grooming. Very good. She said, I spread each dog's vet visits apart by 6 months. Oh, that's nice. See, I didn't even think about that, but I like your thinking on that one, ma'am, because I do now have 2 dogs, and I've always saved for Gracie's food. And last year we had a decent amount of money in that pet account, but then Gracie got attacked by a dog off leash, and I did not go after that person for the vet bill. It ended up being about $500. It totally wiped her account out. So I'm slowly building back up, but not really, because everything I put in goes out for the food. So I had us ahead a little bit, but then she got bit and we had to end up doing the emergency vet and x-rays and sutures and all the things. And the person did not even offer to take care of the vet bill. So again, that's a very good thing. If I do the 2 6 months apart, that'll give me time to save up for the next one. Like Queenie, my new dog Queenie, she's asleep right here. She has to go to the vet August the 1st. And so I'm just going to have to eat that money because I haven't saved it up yet, right? But because I have other income coming in from different places, I'm able to absorb that cost. Do I want to absorb that cost every month? I do not. So I get out here and I work and I make videos and I do all the things trying to bring in more income. Somebody said they started selling stuff from their home. Very good. I mean, whatever you can do. Ollie says, no animals. I have 4 grandchildren. Same child. They eat just as much as the rest of them. Cynthia says she babysits and clean houses. Very good. Dog sitting is very lucrative. Some people don't have children. They have animals. and they don't want their animals to go to boarding. My daughter, when she was in college, when Shamika was in college in Greensboro, she used to be a cat sitter. Who is going to pay somebody to come sit with their cat? Shamika would have access to the people's house using their cable, using their internet, and all she had to do was make sure the cat ate. And she would do that 3 or 4 weekends a month. Didn't got her out of the dorm. She didn't have to worry about it. Worked out fine for her. So whatever you can do, I know that there is I can't remember her name now, but during the height of the pandemic, she made a game, a card game, and it's called And Let the Church Say. And it's funny sayings about church things, church isms. She went and sold them online, probably made a small fortune. There is something that you can do. Okay, eBay, there is buy sell groups, there's Facebook Marketplace, there's all kinds of stuff. Be as safe as you can. If you're doing like buy sell stuff, Facebook Marketplace, meet in open areas, meet at the police station. Yep, you can buy this item, but this is where I do my transactions. If you want to be safe, meet at the police station, meet in Walmart parking lot. I would still meet at the police station or the fire station, whatever, meet where you can be safe. But there are ways to make income out here. People do lawns. Maybe you don't want to leave your neighborhood, but it's plenty of people like me who don't cut grass. I mean, I used to have a real good grass cutting guy, and then he moved. I'm like, how you gonna move, grass cutting guy? But I was able to find somebody else. Right. So there are things that you can do. I can't tell you what, because I'm not going to do some of the things that you would do, but there are things. If you have a good camera presence, start a YouTube channel, start doing TikToks. Who know? I don't get paid on TikTok, but I might one day. I just keep putting them out there. I just keep TikToking. Everybody ticking and talking. I'm out there ticking and talking with them too. My sister's like, you're so funny. You should be on TikTok. I don't do funny TikToks, but whatever. I might eventually. And it could eventually be income down the line. Even with YouTube this year, I've been able to do some sponsorships, which means people pay me to promote their products. So that was something different this year than I had ever had before. I've never been paid to do that. I get paid for my content, but I had never been paid from a company saying, hey, we want to pay you to do our video. So, that was, that's another arm of my business. So again, I just wanted to share a little bit with you guys. I know finances can be extremely hard, especially if your mind doesn't think that way. But I think for me, I just had to pray and I asked God to help me help myself, because I don't want to be in debt. I don't want my children not to have things because I don't have the money. I don't want my children not to be able to go places because I don't have the money. I just don't. Oh, that's very good. I like this. Dee says she's a retired teacher. And she said last year her old school asked her to tutor, and she applied that money to her son's tuition. Listen, this son got to go to college. I got to find a way to pay for it. So she tutors my sister. Not the sister that y'all hear me talk about most of the time, but one of my younger sisters. She actually lives here in the same town that I live in. She actually became a tutor. She became a tutor. She teaches kindergarten, first grade. I don't think she goes over first grade, but she tutors elementary kids. And I think this was at the height of the pandemic when people were out and we were all at home and the kids were doing virtual learning. And so she decided she was going to, offer some tutoring services virtually. And she's made that a business. And when she first moved here, her and her 2 children, I hope she don't mind me sharing this, I won't share her name, but her and her 2 children were struggling. The finances were not easy for her. She just didn't have what she needed always to make all the things meet. She got out there, she started promoting her business, and she would just do it on Facebook. And she knew people from school that their kids needed a little extra something, or I knew somebody who kid was struggling. And I was like, hey, can you do it over here? And she just built up her clientele. And now she has a full-fledged tutoring business. There is something on the inside of you that you can use to provide for your family. I promise you. Math tutors, right now, if you can tutor in math, you probably a gold mine, because it is very challenging to find even math teachers. So if you can tutor math, listen, I kept trying to get her to tutor algebra, but she knew her levels. She was like, I do elementary. So again, don't promise people you can do all the things if you can't. She just does elementary. She didn't do the upper grades, and that was fine. She got enough people trying to do just elementary stuff. So it worked out very well. So again, just a few things to kind of help us continue on our journey. Christmas is coming. People tend to get in a lot of problems at Christmas. I'm not buying a lot of stuff that I'm trying to pay for next year after Christmas is over. So I don't even do credit cards for Christmas. I do cash. Don't do credit cards for Christmas. I do cash. And right now my kids are old enough. Alana likes gifts. So I usually tend to buy stuff for sister, and I'll buy some stuff for Jackson. The older kids, they just get money. And when the grandkids start funneling in, they'll get, I'll buy gifts for them. But I do what works for, I do what works for my family, right? And that's what everybody has to decide. What is going to work for my family? And that is how you have to run your business. That is how you have to manage yourself. If you know your kids are in school, 7 to 3, and you can only do a job that gets you some hours in then. If you know you do better at night when your kids go to bed and they go at a reasonable time, then, I used to do YouTube at 9 and 10, 11 and 12 o'clock at midnight, because that was the only time I had when I first started. And so it just worked out. Now I pretty much work all day long. Again, people don't think I work 3 full-time jobs, but that's their business. Okay. So I work all day long. I go 7 to 3 at my job. I come home. I either have ministry work to do or I'm doing YouTube work. But again, the way my household is, if you were to think about my situation in just a few short years, this will be my household all the time. It's just me. So I have plenty of time to work, plenty of time. What else would I be doing if I didn't have my businesses, right? I think about that as a single woman, and people out here talking about how desperate and thirsty we are because people don't have anything to do. So people appear, not we, because I am not thirsty. I got some. Okay. People appear to be thirsty because they don't have nothing else to do. So they out here just trying to get somebody to see. I have work. I have things that I need to be doing. That's all I'm saying. So, anywho, I wanted to share that little bit. I hope that encourages somebody. I hope that gave you some ideas. I know Dee put a few little suggestions in there about sinking funds. I went over some of my sinking funds. What else? My dog's car registration. I save $7 a month for that. Oil change, I save $20 a month for that. I get my oil change every 10,000 miles. Most people say 3,000 to 5,000 on the powertrain that I have on my 2013 Toyota. It's every 10,000 miles. Trust me, I go to Toyota place and get it changed. I don't just go to these little mom and pop shops. I go to the Toyota place because I want to make sure that I'm getting what I need for my vehicle. Because the last time I went to the mom and pop shop, I ended up with my car messed up. So that's why I go there. But I save up for my oil changes, and that's just how it works. Recycling is $16. Vacation for my insurance is $85. For my PureFlix, which is like Netflix, but a Christian version, that's $11. Pest control every 3rd month. I get my house sprayed just for regular pests. It's summertime, so a lot of bugs and stuff trying to get in to stay cool. That's $28. Household repairs, in case anything comes up, is $50. A new camera is $20 a month. And then I also put a little money in for my garden, right? Because I want to make sure that I have the things I need in my garden. So those are just things that are important to me. I did remember now to put in for my 5-year bond. So I'm going to go right now and make a sinking fund for that. And I'll start sinking it at some point, right? So there it is, you guys. Thank you so much. Please remember to like, hit the thumbs up button on Facebook or especially YouTube. We're trying to get out in the algorithm. We're a little bit out of the algorithm on YouTube for some reason, not real sure why. But if you hit the thumbs up and share, if you feel like it's share worthy, that would be so helpful to us. Helps just people notice that we're out there. We are almost close to 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if you're on Facebook and you haven't joined us on YouTube, please feel free to go over and hit the subscribe button. We do lots of things. Faithwork Farmstead, we're going to be making jam today, or jelly today. We're making jam. We're doing jam. We're jamming today. So jams, I've got tomatoes going in for tomato sauce. So we're doing a few things over here on Faithworks Farmstead just because we can. And so we want to share that with everybody. So anywho, thank you guys so much. Don't forget to do the things, and we will see you guys the next time. Bye now.